Welcome back to Light Talk, where the paranormal and the supernatural is a part of our everyday lives. We have a very special guest today, and I'm excited to get started. So, we're going to go ahead and go. So, welcome to the show, and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is James Burnette. I run a paranormal group called 13 Paranormal out here in Virginia. We're actually located in the Roanoke Valley, and I've been investigating the paranormal since 2005. Started off having a paranormal experience when I was at a young age, and um, kind of took a parapsychology class in college just for an elective because I was kind of curious, but then I also needed an elective credit. And ever since I took that class, I've been addicted since then. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a paper I had to write in college, and that kind of helped me along on my journey too. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the locations that we got to, I mean, unlike any other like college classes that you take, this is actually like you actually get to go on location and and view the history and all that. I mean, there was very little investigating during the class, but there was a lot of like learning the history and the claims of activity of different locations. One of the requirements was to have a digital camera with you, because they were really big on capturing orbs in the class, which I know there's a lot of people that debates on whether orbs are paranormal or not, but um, I actually caught some weird stuff other than orbs. I wish I still had this camera, but this is like back when digital cameras first came out. It was kind of like a humongous staticky eyeball that was looking down on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't explain it because I just was just taking random pictures at a up in this attic of this house, and it just like popped out of nowhere. I mean, I had pictures that I took before and after, and it wasn't in there. Whatever it was just in that single shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool when you get things like that. I've got a couple like that too, and it's amazing. It's really really cool.
I
Yeah.
always find it some of the best evidence that you ever capture is when you don't expect it. It seems like.
Yeah. So how many investigations have you been on?
Um, I want to say it would probably be around probably about 400, maybe five.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you've
been doing it
you've
for
had
a
a
long time.
oh, go ahead. Yeah, yeah. So when did you start investigating?
2005 is when I really started to investigate. It was mostly like a lot of trial and error. I I know that's about when the shows really started to hit its peak was about 2005, but I got in on it a little bit before the shows started to get popular. At the time, I was probably into my second book onto like a ghost hunter's handbook. I read like three or four of those before I actually started to get out in the field, which going out into the field, it was a lot of trial and error, seeing what works for you, what doesn't work. Uh, I met up with a guy in around 2008, and we started a group called Viper Paranormal, and that was we did a lot of stuff with that group where we were uh, still doing our trial and error, but we were taking more of a scientific route where we were trying to um, debunk what we can, but still keep an open mind on on things that are occurring. So we try not to dismiss things that would happen that we can't explain.
Right. Right. Yeah. So what kinds of experiences did you have with that? What kinds of things that you couldn't debunk?
Um, well, I thought the first time I ever went to St. Albans Sanitarium, it's in Radford, Virginia.
Mhm.
If watched any of the paranormal shows or anything, or been on YouTube, that place is like really active, and uh, it's been crazy. Um, the first time I went there myself, I had a group that went a little bit ahead of me, and I was on top of the stairs, and I was getting ready to head down the stairs, but then I heard footsteps behind me, and I started to go back up the steps because I could have sworn it could have been another group. That's how loud they were, because there were two groups, one of three, one of two, but we actually got the guy that was running security that night to join the other group. They got a little scared to go by themselves, so but the security guard that night was really awesome. So he actually joined them. So when I went back up the stairs, I could have sworn that was going to be the group, and I was expecting someone to be up at the top of the stairs, and there was no one there. And as I started to go back down the stairs, um, I started hearing it again, and I just kind of ignored it and tried to catch up with the group that I was with. When I went back and listened to the audio, there was a clear voice, because when I do EVP work, I try to, and for people that doesn't know the electronic voice phenomenon, when I try to do EVP work, I try to act like I'm talking to someone that's right there with me. And I think I said, "Hi, how's it going?" And then out of nowhere, this voice came up on the recorder that said Virginia. And it was weird because I caught it on my voice recorder, and I had a mini DV recorder at the time too, and it didn't catch on on the mini DV recorder. It was just on my voice recorder that I caught the voice on.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, you could clearly hear that voice out of nowhere, and um, that was the only experience that night. We were up up and upstairs where they called the suicide bathroom, where three nurses have ended themselves in the bathroom. They were just getting overwhelmed with the patient ratio to the help that they had, and it just, I mean, if I remember right, for every one nurse, they had 20 or 30 patients.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I think it just a lot of them got overwhelmed, and they couldn't handle it anymore. But the team that I was with, we were just outside of the bathroom, and there was this shadow figure in the doorway. I I didn't say anything at first because my camcorder started to shut down, which it had 50% on the battery, so it still had a good amount. But then the next thing I know, I heard the thing shut off, and I was trying to figure out what was going on because it wouldn't cut back on. So I set it down, and then I looked up, and then it looked like there was like a 6 foot tall shadow figure, solid mass, um, and it was just in the doorway, just looking at us. Couldn't make out any features or anything on it. The way I describe it is, if you ever see like the people on a school crossing sign,
Oh,
they
yeah.
kind of look like that.
Yeah.
But it was like in a third dimension too, just like right in that doorway. I got up, and then by the time I got up off my chair, the thing was already gone out of the doorway. And then there was a set of stairs that you could see, and it just looked like there was a blur down some stairs. And one of the investigators um, said behind me, "You saw that figure, right?" And I was like, "What'd you see?" Because I try not to use the power of suggestion during an investigation. And there was like, there was a shadow figure right in front of that doorway. I was like, "That's exactly what I saw." And I'm kicking myself that I didn't have a spare battery or any cameras, because it was just right there as soon as that camera died, and I just was like, "Wow."
Yeah, it wouldn't matter what kind of battery you had in it. He shut it off anyways. So
Yeah, yeah. Just a little convenient that the battery drained and that shadow figure just popped up at the same time.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear that they do that. So yeah. So
Yes.
what other experiences have you had? I mean, maybe in that same house or in other investigations.
Yeah. Did a shortly afterwards. Uh, it was my first night setting up a DVR system, and it was we had one set up in downstairs in the basement, and we had it pointed at the washer because the client said that they saw a figure near the washer. Well, next thing I know, my brother and the group that went in there in the basement started coming up the stairs pretty fast. And my brother was like, "Hey, James, I hate to tell you, but that table downstairs in the basement moved." And I was like, "It moved?" And he, I was trying to figure out, well, like if someone might have kicked it, or someone might have like accidentally knocked it and didn't know about it or anything. And he said no. No one was around it at the time. Like we mentioned that one of the investigators had a child, and he was going to bring the child to play with the whatever was downstairs in the basement, and that's when the coffee table moved on its own. So I was like, okay, I got to see this for myself. So I took one person that was in the group before, the one that had the child, and everybody else was new, a new set of people. So
Mhm.
I went downstairs with this other group, and sure enough, like we were sitting all around the coffee table, and that person said the same thing. And I still can't explain this, but I saw the coffee table move on its own. And this was a good sized coffee table, and no one kicked it or moved it, accidentally bumped into it. We were all sitting down. People's feet were like, a good couple feet away from it. So no one accidentally kicked it on accident. I was like, I had my leg up on the couch that was downstairs, and it was just like puzzling on how something like that big and that heavy just moved on its own like that.
No rope or anything to move it from.
Nothing. Yeah. And something strange that night happened. As we were getting ready to pack up, we heard what sounded like almost like Christmas ornaments popping, like glass breaking.
Hmm.
We tried to find the source of it, could not find it. The homeowners, after we left, looked around. They couldn't find any glass broken.
Wow.
Yeah, it almost
Hmm.
sounded like a Christmas bulb or something, like someone stepped on it and it makes that pop sound. Couldn't find it.
Huh. Huh. So there was like a lot of them, or just like a single one in different times, or like a bunch of them at once, or
I believe that from the activity that we've witnessed, there might have been more than one thing going on, because what initially had them to get us out there was because in their guest bedroom where their daughter and boyfriend were staying in, the boyfriend felt the bed move on its own, and he would get a single scratch down his back.
Hmm.
We didn't have anybody that got scratched, but there was several people that laid in that bed and said they felt the bed shake.
Hmm.
I
Anything?
didn't experience it, but I'll take everybody for their word because you know, our main goal is to try to find something, find a logical explanation because these people are scared enough. So it's better to try to find something logical than to something paranormal.
Was that a room that something happened in? Like any anger? I feel like there was some anger in that room, not necessarily a death, but some anger.
They did say, if I remember right, it was an older gentleman did die on the property. So the only thing I could think of, it wasn't related to him, the person that passed, but he this was the guest bedroom. He passed away in the master bedroom. Um, from what I understand and what I remembered, he did not like, because he was a Christian person in life, so he didn't like premarital things happening in people with tattoos. So I believe that was one of the main causes why some of these people were getting attacked in that room.
So it was a kind of like a anger, not appropriate to his rules to the house, kind of
Exactly
being
right.
not okay with the rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, how they come through like that and still have their rules and everything. So how did you react to that? Did you go to that room and talk to this gentleman, or what did you do at that point?
I didn't feel anything. I had a electric magnetic field detector with me, trying to. The EMF was actually kind of low. I didn't have anything happen to me. Now my investigator and her boyfriend was back in that bedroom, and they were laying on the bed, and uh, that is when uh, you hear something on the recording, like the bed was shaking, like you hear like the screeching of it, and then you hear one of them leave the room because they were trying to get a witness for the activity going on, and that's when you just like almost like hear someone tripping, but no one even tripped.
Hmm.
Like it sounded like someone just like, I don't know, just almost like it sounded like someone fell.
Like trying to get out or something like that, or
Yeah. But from the video, it was just someone just calmly walked out. Like it didn't match up right.
yeah, interesting. Interesting. Hmm. All right. Shall we
No,
go to another one? I'm so want to hear them all.
sure. Well, I will tell you about this one time that I did get called in on an investigation, which um, we did happen to capture. Now, we didn't have anything like happen to us during the investigation, but I did happen to have a couple EVPs to play for the client, and that was enough for them to move out. Like they had enough on because between the stuff they experienced and between the audio that we caught, I think it was like three clips, and I can't remember exactly what it said. I didn't post it because they was didn't feel comfortable enough. But I just remember playing them audio clips, and they're like, I heard from them about a week later, and they're like, "Yeah, we got the house up for sale." I was like, you don't have to do that because there's nothing there that was threatening. There was nothing. To honestly, to be if I could think about it, it was more of a residual type haunting where it's just
Okay.
like playback and we just happen to capture it on a recorder. But I believe that was enough for them to be just like, all right, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. They weren't into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
between their experiences of what
Mhm.
they've seen and the audio clips that we captured. That's why I'm really careful when we're doing a client investigation. I try to make sure no one talks about the activity in front of the clients because they're already scared enough, and it's more sensitive to uh, everything's more sensitive when you got the client involved because you go to like some of these locations that are well known to be haunted and then you're expecting an experience or hoping to get one, but then
Right.
when you go to a client one you're hoping that you can find an alternative explanation, but you do have that, sometimes you do find something there.
Yeah. Do you recall how many people moved out after you had an investigation of their house?
Just that couple, yeah, because I mean,
Really?
yeah, just that couple. What I try to do, because a lot of the shows don't really go into this much, but it's like an ongoing service for them. Because once someone calls for your help, you're stuck with them until one or two things: they feel comfortable enough to move on, or to accept what's happening, or they feel comfortable enough with the activity going on, or they pretty much just move out.
Yeah. Having understanding is very helpful of what's going on, knowing, okay, it's not going to hurt me, but they're just here, got to set rules. Okay. You could be
Right.
here, but this is now my house and, you know,
Yeah,
just be kind.
everybody expecting like a there I've had people that was like, hey, I got activity happen at my house, I need you to clear it out, and I'm like, well, it really doesn't work that way, because you really need to find out what you're dealing with first before you try to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have
That's
you
what I
come
try.
across,
Oh, I'm sorry.
have you, no, it's fine. Have you come across any pretty negative entities in these houses, or have they been overall pretty general?
I've been on one case. We were teaming up with another group. Um, this was back when I was with the Viper Paranormal, and we were. I can't remember the name of the group, but one of the other group members, their grandfather just passed away, and they were having activity at his house, and I just remembered one of the investigators had like a real bad burning on his back, and he had scratch marks that went down his back. Like it was, it's not like the typical three that you hear about, but it was like maybe one or two that went down his back from right below his neckline to the probably about the middle of his back. And they said that other group has investigated there before, and they never had anything like that happen.
What'd you come up with for that one? Is that like just the person that happened to, something to do with that person, or was it a new entity in the house, or
I honestly think from what we gather from that information, I don't think it was anything inhuman or demonic. I think it was just maybe someone that wasn't happy we were there. What I try to tell people all the time is that just because I know it can be scary, but just because you get pushed or get scratched or anything like that, don't rush for it to being demonic, malevolent, or or maybe, but if these spirits or ghosts, whatever you want to call it, are trapped, they're going to do whatever they can to try to grab your attention. It might be scary to us because we can't see them or anything, but they're trying to let you know that they're here, and they're trying to do everything they can to let you know that they're here and they need help. Sometimes it's not always the case, but the majority of it is.
That's good to know. That's good to know. So, I mean, at least we can have a jest of not to jump into something and just give it a loving feeling, you
Right,
know, give we should give everything a loving feeling.
right.
Because the light will overtake the darkness. So, but yeah, yeah, always be cautious either way, but give love.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I tell everybody. I mean, anybody that calls me up and says that they think their activity is negative, I'm like, hold on, take a moment to breathe. Just because you might had something negative to you that might have happened doesn't necessarily mean it's out to get you.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that's a lot of people's problems because they're not expecting something to happen. So when something actually does, it really captures them off guard. So they're just like they go 0 to 100 within seconds.
yeah. And then they go off TV. TV tells them, it's a lot of, oh, it's a demon. It's this, it's that. It's so negative. It's blah, 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 blah. And it's like, not always, not
No,
always. They
yeah,
make it
very
sound
rare.
terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not Hollywood, in other words.
exactly right.
Not Hollywood.
Well, anymore too. It's not what you see. Well, I don't want to say. I'm going to be nice. I was going to say it's not what you might see on TV too. So off of some of these shows, but yeah, it's something demonic. I mean, if you're going out looking for something that's going, looking for something to evil or whatever, it wouldn't take much. I mean,
Yeah.
what I got this from saying from a movie, which I really do agree with. It's like it goes, if you knock on the devil's door long enough, sooner or later someone's going to answer. Well, if you're going to look for something evil or something malevolent, sooner or later it's going to happen to you. So,
Yeah. It's all in intention then.
exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah. You had an incident when you were like 3 years old in a playpen.
Yeah,
You want to talk about that?
sure. So I was asleep, and the next thing I know, or what my mom has told me, she started to freak out because there was a light fixture right underneath my playpen, and somehow it fell into my playpen. And the way I was laying down, it should have like smashed my head. And we're talking about, this was like early '80s, so these light fixtures were pretty heavy,
Hmm.
and for somehow, some way, the light fixture just wound up right beside my head. There was no impact or anything. I just remember my mom telling me she freaked out when she saw it happen, or not when she noticed it, because that light fixture would have like really done some damage.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were pretty heavy. Did the glass break on it or anything, or just
No,
landed? Oh, wow.
yeah, she said something or someone was watching over me that day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. That's scary for a parent.
I can understand. Yeah, definitely. That
That's
that
very
is.
scary. Yeah. Yeah. And when you were little, you had an imaginary friend?
I guess you could call him that. I remember calling him my other dad, and I mean, I had a bad history of letting people inside our house when my parents were asleep or away. And I remember my mom was down for a nap, and she said that she heard me. She as she was waking up, she's heard me talking to someone, and she came in pretty upset with me because she thought I let someone in. And sure enough, no one was there. But she said that I was carrying on a conversation like I was talking to someone. And to go a little bit further into it, and this freaks, I get chills thinking about this too, and it freaks my mom and dad out. We went we all took a car trip to the bank. And I remember I was in the back seat looking back, and there was a guy that came out of the bank that kind of looked like what I said my other dad looked like. And my dad came out shortly after he came out, and as he sat down, he talked to my mom and said, "Hey, did you see that guy that just walked out right before I did? He was like, he kind of looked like my dad, didn't he?" And I just remember my mom looking back at me, and then she told my dad that's what my other dad looked like, and my dad was like, he seemed a little taken back. My mom kind of got freaked out.
Did you have an uncle or something that passed that you may be his reincarnated?
I don't. Well, my aunt tells me all the time that I look a lot like my like her dad. So but I never met my grandfather because he passed away well before I was born.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah. Or maybe I'm just kind of talking here, but maybe he was another dad of like even a different lifetime.
I mean, that is very possible. I mean, one of the biggest theories out in the field is that a lot of children are actually kind of, I hate to compare it, but are like animals, like they don't know better or anything. So they're actually seeing things that, oh, I'm sorry, my cat
Speaking
was,
of animals,
yeah. Um, um, that they can actually see things that we can't, and they that was one of the theories that little kids don't know better, and we haven't told them yet that that these things don't exist, so we're just talking it off to their imagination, but we're actually thinking maybe they're actually seeing something now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know animals see things. My dog sees something all the time in the house. She's always watching something.
What's he
Yeah.
doing? You want to be part of it?
Yeah, yeah. That was my cat Buster.
Oh, I thought it was my own voice there. It sounded like got the echo going now.
Yeah.
And you were also talking that you had some experiences with Bigfoot.
I in this area we actually been having sightings for it. It's been really crazy the last couple of years. Um, I live at okay, so Roanoke, Virginia. Uh, it's in a valley. It's Southwest Virginia, and just a little bit north of us, we have the New River Valley, and that consists of like a um, Christiansburg, Blacksburg, and then a little bit further than that, near the West Virginia line, is Tazewell. So not within it had been within a week of each other. They actually caught. Well, someone actually had a Bigfoot experience in the New River Valley. This actually made local newspapers, and we're talking about like 30 minutes away from us. And then a few days later, somewhere in Tazewell County, actually someone there had an experience too with the Bigfoot. And they were out camping, and yet again, this also made the newspaper. And I mean, same type of photos. I mean, it looks like a ape-like creature, like six something feet tall. Almost looks like Chewbacca from Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I kind of see in some of those pictures I've seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been with a group that actually explored Bigfoot, but I mean, I think he was wanting well, I got him addicted to certain things that you can get at coffee shops.
Uh-oh.
But I was going back to the Bigfoot. Yeah, I actually had a lot of people around here with experiences. I was actually doing a fundraiser one time, just down the road from where I'm at, and I had people that lives out in the country that said that they've been running into some kind of ape-like creature. Um, there's a small town um, called Newcastle that's probably about 30-45 miles away from here, and there's a road that leads up into West Virginia, and a lot of people have seen something that would cross this road, and it's just unreal. Like with all the accounts of just within this short amount of distance of people seeing something similar.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're seeing something, but I can't explain it. Like, because they're seeing something, because all these accounts are matching up to what they're seeing. Like, and it's different people. Like, they're all describing the same thing. Something like 6 feet tall, very hairy, almost looks like an ape, but not as big around as an ape.
Yeah. Yeah. They say there's a lot of activities where I'm at too,
Oh
just up
yeah.
in the mountains. Yeah. And I believe I had an experience with them here in the city in front of
Mhm.
my house. So I don't know what the sound was. I don't know how to really explain it, but it was not an animal that I've ever heard. And yeah, it had like it just went all over the place. I'll just try to demonstrate it, but it was like kind of sounding. I know I sound pretty awkward saying this or what, but that's kind of what I was hearing. And it was
Mhm.
like pretty much across the street from my front yard. It's just right there.
Yeah.
But not that's not a wolf, it's not a coyote, it's not a dog. The dogs at that time were very, very quiet around here. You never even heard the dogs, but it wouldn't a dog wouldn't be like that, even if it was howling.
Well,
But it
believe it
was
or not, I was listening to a podcast. This has been several years ago, but um, I actually did a little bit of research on this. But, I don't know if you ever heard of a dogman before.
yes.
Okay. Besides Bigfoot, that's like the second most seen crypto creature that people have seen, besides like a chupacabra or something. I
Yeah.
mean, and there's a lot of substantial evidence. I mean, it seems like it happens in waves, almost like with Bigfoot. But I think it was like Michigan, like there was a group of miners that actually had a run in with one.
Is that in the old railroad house?
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, is that the yeah, that was the wolf man or the wolf, yeah, the wolf man.
yeah.
I know the Mothman is very common too, it seems.
Yes, especially around natural disasters too. I mean that bridge collapsing. What was it? I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like 1956 ish, somewhere right in there, and like 20 people died, 20 or 30, and I can't remember the exact. I mean, I remember some of it, but I do remember people seeing that there was like a big creature, winged creature, right before the bridge collapsed, and apparently this has happened several times throughout the years where they'll see like a winged creature right before a bridge collapse. I know it happened in West Virginia first off. Happened in it seemed like it happened in Ohio a few years ago when that bridge collapsed. People said that they seen Mothman when that bridge in Ohio collapsed. I want to say this was back in 2013, 2014. I know it's way before COVID occurred.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't remember that one. I know
Well,
I was going to work one time and I had this huge, I have no idea. I don't know how to look at this. Um, but from underneath my car, I was in between a lake, two lakes that kind of is divided by a road. And I had this bird that came up from underneath of my car, fully wing spread up
mhm,
over my car and followed the contour of my car.
mhm,
The wings went around the windshield. It blocked the full windshield, but I did see like the belly of it. I don't remember seeing legs on it. Um, but the belly was white with brown spots, speckles, kind of almost like a hawk or yeah, kind of like a hawk,
mhm.
but it was huge. I don't know if that was anything or if it really was a bird because I understand there's birds with that big, but what kind of gets me is that it came up and from underneath my car. I did not see it in front of me when I was driving, but it came up from underneath my car with the wings fully spread.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Uh, I haven't looked into it much. I didn't remember having a conversation with this guy about thunderbirds, the actual Native American uh, belief. With I just remember us having a conversation about them being like substantial evidence on actual thunderbirds. I know it's something that some Native Americans worshipped, and I just remember me and him going back and forth saying that there was some evidence of them actually existing, and that's why you see like totem poles that actually had them back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I just find it interesting that there might be something, behind that. I mean, it's just, it's, I think the more that we develop in these like woods area, the more we're going to be like pushing things out that we don't understand or never seen before. I mean, I just remember like when I was growing up, you would hardly see any type of animals in the city. Nowadays, I'm seeing deer in the middle of the city. So it's just like they're losing their habitat. So, we're
Yeah.
developing on lands that have never been used before and they're being pushed. And I'm thinking that's why we're probably seeing more encounters or more stories popping up of these cryptos that we've, heard here and there about. But then there's the accounts are coming up more often.
I can see that. I can go with that. And yeah, because we've got so much building in our area, it's saddening. It saddens me to look into my mountains in the mornings and see all these speckles all over the place because it's a house
Right.
with the light
Yeah.
shining off the windows or something. It breaks my heart. It really does.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I see. right here in town, I see elk, we see deer. We've even had bear down here.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if you know anything about Denver, but when Stapleton, the old airport, was down in the Denver area, I used to work there and I would see, was it like a group of like three or four deer right next to the highway, right there in the middle of downtown Denver. I was like, are you kidding me? How did you make it this far? How?
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, this was like early 2000s where we actually had a black bear that entered an emergency room in a town nearby here.
oh no.
And there was controversy about them having to lay the bear down, but I mean, they said they couldn't risk tranquilizing the bear because it just walked into a emergency room and there was people that could potentially get hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I remember over the summer watching a bear going into a 7-Eleven, and it helped himself into the freezer.
Mm-hmm. And
Cashier
they'll do
couldn't
that.
do nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I go to this summer camp and we do volunteer work to get it set up for the kids and everything. And one summer when we went out there to do this, they had was up there a few weeks prior and they had to clean it up because a bear family had gotten in and kind of destroyed the whole kitchen and the furniture and everything. They still
Wow.
have a morgue at the front where the bear had scratched trying to get into the front door there. It's like, wow, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But that's the mountains. So I mean it's like that you can kind of understand, but to see these animals down here just scary for me just because these guys are hurting themselves because of us. It just makes me sad.
It
Yeah.
really is because I remember the first time I saw a deer in this city, because used to you would only see them on country roads,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're everywhere. So it's just like, and they act different too. I mean, it might be just me, but like, I could see like going down on a neighborhood and just car going by and there's deer just watching you as you go down the road, and then you're in the country and you drive down on a country road and see deer, and they'll run away from you.
They, yeah,
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
just from where they get used to the noise and everything, and they're not bothered by us.
yeah. That's yeah, so sad.
Yeah.
So sad. Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
your
Thank you.
experiences. It's amazing the different things that we experience in these journeys that we're on. It impresses me all the time.
Oh yeah, it's uncanny on how it started off, and the more equipment, and the better the equipment's getting, and viewing and all. I mean, you're getting like better images as well. So it's just like from what when I first started off on a 3 megapixel camera where it was all pixelated and all, to where you're getting high definition stuff that comes up now. It's really it's still mind blowing to me because on how clear you're able to capture some of these weird things that happen now.
Right. Right. It is amazing and it's so intriguing.
It really is. I mean, I'm looking forward to see, because a lot of our equipment that we use wasn't for meant for like the purpose of it, like EMF meters or anything like that. But you know, using like my recent equipment that I just got was a Zoom 4 recorder, and it's mostly. I mean, if you probably know what that is with the just like a podcasting type recorder, usually like for like music or something like that, and listening to like real time EVPs on a Zoom 4, that is just still mind blowing. Just like because you don't have to wait and listen, or have to go back and listen to it. You could just capture it right there and pretty much, I mean, not have a conversation, but you can, get a good idea of what the thing's saying that you're speaking to, and then you can ask your line of questioning along that.
Yeah, that would be so nice to be able to do that, to have like that back and forth conversation, not like a one way and then have to wait. And then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't get your answers to forward that conversation. Yeah.
yeah. Just like, okay, ending EVP session. Let me go stop this and listen to it, and oh, okay, this is what they said. All right, so then let me go back.
Yeah. By that time they're gone. They're like, you're taking too long.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you again for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great new year. And
Thank you.
you let me know if you have more stories you would like to share, and we'll get you
Definitely.
back on.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. If anyone else out there has any stories you would like to share, email me at lighttalk423 at gmail.com, and we will talk with you later. Thanks, everyone. Bye.